We're going to look at it. So foul there on Indiana, on Hull there. But then that is a technical.
That is a technical. Dead ball, contact technical.
It's a little surprising to see so many of these happen in one game because...
Oh, and I don't like the way Lexi Hull...
Remember that controversial play the last time the Indiana Fever and Minnesota Lynx faced off? The one where Kayla McBride's elbow cracked Lexi Hull across the face, left her shaken, and somehow the refs still slapped Hull with the penalty? Well, fast forward to their latest matchup. And let's just say Lexi got the last word. This time, Hull flipped the script, delivered the kind of revenge every Indiana fan had been waiting for, and the crowd went absolutely insane. But this moment wasn't just about a highlight or a viral clip. It symbolized everything the Indiana Fever have been about this season: redemption, resilience, and refusing to stay down.
Final score, Fever 83, Lynx 72. Indiana ends the regular season with an exclamation point. Fever have won 3 in a row as they enter the playoff.
The Fever's 83-72 win over Minnesota wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. And it might be the game that redefines their playoff push. Now here's the bigger question: how did Indiana even get here? How does a team survive when nearly half its rotation is in street clothes? Because that's exactly the nightmare the Fever have lived through. Caitlin Clark sidelined with a season-ending groin injury. Sophie Cunningham, MCL tear. Sydney Colson, torn ACL. Khloe Bibby, lingering knee issues. Aari McDonald, fractured foot. That's not just injuries. That's an entire starting lineup wiped out, and still somehow Indiana didn't crumble. Most teams in this league would have folded under that kind of pressure. Not the Fever, they kept grinding.
I know a lot of people will talk about Nafisa not playing, but I think they're really good with or without her. You know, they're just a really great basketball team. So I think it was a big win for us because they set the bar high standard wise. We know what to expect when it comes to Minnesota Lynx, and so I think going into the playoffs, it was big for us because being able to know guarding Courtney Williams, knowing that her thing is a pull-up, knowing that now instead of not knowing that, it's big for us because we give ourselves a chance. And if they are the standard, we get to see where we are.
Caitlin Clark's announcement that her rookie year was officially done could have killed the season's momentum. Fans had been clinging to the hope of a miracle return, only to watch it vanish in a press release. Clark admitted how devastating it was. Hours in the gym, endless rehab, and still the injury just wouldn't heal. Her words were emotional, thanking the fans while admitting disappointed isn't even close to describing how I feel. That's the kind of blow that can crush a franchise's spirit. But Indiana, they took it as fuel.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been impressed with these guys since even the offseason, really, the ones that I was able to work out with in the offseason, is how hard they work. There's a work ethic and there's a work style. And to approach everything in the same way, to be so energetic, enthusiastic, and dedicated every day. And I felt that way in training camp too. There weren't any days where I had to bring that out of them. So I think it's the nature of the women that we've brought into this organization to continue to just bust their butts and play hard.
Kelsey Mitchell, who has quietly been one of the league's most underrated stars for years, stepped into the spotlight like never before. She didn't just pick up the slack. She became Indiana's heartbeat, dropping 20 points a night, carrying the offense, and even surpassing Tamika Catching's single-season scoring record. Think about that. Passing a Fever legend while dragging her team through one of the toughest stretches in franchise history. Every scout knew she was the target, every defense doubled her, and she still delivered.
Kind of all the other things like offensive rebounding that she can do.
Knocked away, Boston comes up with a steal. Here is Mitchell veering through the paint and lays it in.
She's so quick, and especially when she gets out in the open floor, you'll see her coming down. The quick left to right crossover just gets by. I thought she was sprinting. I didn't think she was lumbering.
It was a lumber sprint.
Up for the big girl.
Mitchell like a blur. That's a sprint.
And then there's Aaliyah Boston. Her growth this season has been remarkable. Averaging over 15 points and 8 rebounds down the stretch, she's become the anchor in the paint. Boston's consistency, night after night, is what kept Indiana's defense from collapsing when rotations got thin. She even set the franchise record for most rebounds in a single season. That's not just effort, that's dominance.
It'll be Alana Smith jumping it up against Aaliyah Boston. The ball is tipped, and it's time to hoop at Indy.
A 10-0 run to start this game for Indiana, and Minnesota wants a timeout.
Powers up top, tees it up, 3. It's good! Energy!
Kicks it out, Powers. You bet! Back-to-back threes from Aerial Powers.
The Fever double up the Lynx in the first quarter. It's Indiana 28, Minnesota 14.
So when the Fever faced Minnesota, one of the league's top teams, it wasn't just another regular season game. It was a test. A test to prove whether this patched-together roster could actually hang with the WNBA's elite, and from the opening tip, Indiana made it clear they weren't going anywhere.
Only 8 teams have ever done that. 7 of them went on to win the title. As Boston gets free and lays it in.
She will be on my first team.
Boston in the paint, sneaks through 2 and lays it in.
Fever done with the MVP, okay? Bow, bow, bow! Hell yeah. You already know what it is. Dubs in the chat, you already know what it is. Ooh! You already know what it is. Let's go to the playoffs with some momentum.
Before the playoffs start Sunday tonight, it's regular season game 44 of 44 for the Fever as they host the WNBA's best team in 2025, the Minnesota Lynx.
They stormed out on a 10-0 run, doubling up Minnesota by the end of the first quarter. By halftime, they held a double-digit lead. The Lynx, normally a 3-point threat, went ice cold, just 2 for 20 from deep. And while Minnesota stumbled, Indiana executed with ruthless precision. Role players turned into difference makers. Odyssey Sims signed on a hardship deal, dropped 15 points, and reminded the league she still belongs at this level. Aerial Powers buried back-to-back threes when the Lynx threatened a comeback, swinging momentum right back to Indiana. Natasha Howard did a little bit of everything in scoring, rebounding, defending, filling every gap created by injuries. And just like that, the Fever secured their 3rd straight win. Not just locking themselves into the playoffs, but finishing the regular season with their first winning record since 2015. That's 9 years of frustration erased in one season, and they did it without their brightest star on the floor.
Indiana is 4 for 4 from 3-point range. Mitchell connects on a 3. Sims leaning jumper is good.
Kelsey driving left, puts it in off the backboard.
Will to it for the first half. Indiana shoots 58% from the floor.
But let's be real. As impressive as the team performance was, one moment stole the headlines. Lexi Hull versus Kayla McBride, the rematch. When Hull found herself guarding McBride in the second quarter, she made her move. One quick dribble, a hesitation, and McBride was left stumbling. The crowd erupted as McBride hit the floor, and the clip went viral within minutes. For Indiana fans, it wasn't just a crossover, it was karma, the perfect answer to weeks of frustration over that botched call.
Mitchell, open 3. It's good. You can. Kelsey Mitchell is a hooper.
Passes Dantas left corner 3. Bullseye. Shot clock. Boston left block makes it in.
Lexi Hull didn't just settle the score with that play. She embodied the entire Fever identity, playing through pain, shouldering extra minutes, and refusing to back down even when everything seemed stacked against her. Earlier in the season, she put up a career-high 23 points when Indiana needed it most. She's gone from role player to core piece right before our eyes. And against Minnesota, her grit and fire were undeniable. Hull's performance, bruises, busted lip, and all, symbolized Indiana's transformation. Written off, underestimated, constantly battling unfair calls, yet always finding a way to rise. Her redemption against McBride wasn't about one play. It was about proving that this team, this culture, isn't built on excuses. It's built on toughness. The Fever are no longer the league's doormat. They've rebranded themselves as fighters, as survivors, as a team that will not fold no matter who's missing. That's why this win mattered more than the scoreline. It wasn't just about climbing to the 7th seed or sweeping a season series, it was about respect.
Here's Mitchell, I think that's a 2. Doesn't go. And now it's McBride getting Hull. Yeah, that one might be a problem. Indiana just taking shots to the face.
And while Caitlin Clark will have to watch the playoffs from the sideline, her impact hasn't gone anywhere. Cameras caught her coaching from the bench, signaling plays, giving teammates instructions, even smiling and joking with refs. She might not be in uniform, but her presence is still magnetic. And with her eventual return, this resilient core becomes something even scarier.
Tonight for Indiana, but then Colson gives it right back, and Howard cashes in.
To perform like this, but they have 5 different players almost at all times who can bring the ball up the floor. Usually 4 or 5 were adept at making shots from deep. I mean, you just saw a big there creating her own look as well from Natasha Howard. Career high in terms of her field goal percentage, and you see her here, the little spin to the middle. That's a tough shot.
So let's be clear. Indiana's 83-72 win over Minnesota wasn't an accident. It was a statement. The Fever are here. They're not just surviving, they're thriving. And with the grit of players like Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Aerial Powers, and Lexi Hull leading the way, this team is shaping into a legitimate contender. The Fever's playoff push is officially alive, and Lexi Hull's crossover revenge will go down as the moment that symbolized their rise.
The Minnesota team is on the cusp of watching all season long. Now, one thing to know. Vegas, one thing to know. Vegas currently is a 3, but if they win out, they will be the 6.
She's messy, and she's on your team, you love her, and if she's on the other team, she's just annoying. Right? She just gets in and tries to rip the ball out of Lynx's hands and just end the effort.
So what do you think? Was Lexi's move on McBride the ultimate payback? And more importantly, how far can this shorthanded but fearless Indiana team go in the postseason? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button for the Fever's grit, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of this incredible run.